Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Wadau, good morning. How are you? Welcome to this awesome show we are about to have in about now. Karibu sana kwa hii show. Welcome to this great, wonderful show. I'm your host, Jakes, the moderator, and this is Afric 24. Karibu sana, nijuze unantazama ukiwa wapi. Welcome so much. If you're joining me just now, karibu sana. We are just but starting this awesome morning show. Karibu tu sana. Karibuni sana, wakaribisha wawili watatu kwa kulike na kwa kusubscribe to Afric 24. Let's have another awesome conversation in about now. All right, tunayo show moja fiti, tunayo show moja kali. Hii ni show moja utakuja kuipenda tu sana. Show yako ndo hii imeanza leo, inakuja asubuhi. Tumekuwa na mshki siku mbili tatu, lakini now we are back and now we are doing the morning show. Let me know where you are finding this from. Naona wengi washaingia ndani, asante sana. Jamaa anajiita Kiflagat, anasema tunachochea tu maandamano. We hatuchoche hatuchochi maandamano at all. I'll be telling you why the heading and why the topic, but we are having another awesome conversation. Jiunge nasi kwa show. Asante sana kwa kukuja, asante sana kwa kujoin hii fantastic conversation we are about to have just now. Welcome wajuzi wawili watatu, like hii video. Alright, like hii video mbio mbio. Zaidi ya yote nijuze unantazama ukiwa wapi hapo kwa comment section. It's another fine morning. I don't know where you're tuning in from. I don't know where you are from. Watu wa USA karibuni sana, watu wa Germany karibuni sana. Those guys I'm sure wengi wanasema ni good night or very early in the morning in some countries, but all the same, from wherever you are tuning in from, welcome to this awesome show we are about to have just now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, people from all over. Karibuni tu sana. We are live from Afric 24. We invite you to subscribe to Afric 24. Let's keep this family growing. Thank you for the support you have been giving us over the days. Asanteni, asanteni, asanteni tu sana. All right. Karibu sana kwa show. Karibu sana kwa show. Karibu tu sana kwa hii show. This is your show. This is your host. None other than Jakes, the moderator. I'm about to be joined by my other good brother, and we have an awesome conversation in about now. All right. We are talking about the meeting that took place yesterday. We are looking at that meeting together with the newspapers and the news making headlines in as far as Kenyan politics and Kenyan news are concerned. All right. So welcome to this show. Asante sana ikiwa unajiunga nasi kupitia Mtembei TV. Asante sana. Kimbia hapo Afrique, subscribe. Let's subscribe to those two channels as well, because you never know. You never know. At times one channel has a challenge, so it's good to have all those channels subscribing too. And at times they are bringing different content. So kimbia hapo Afrique 24, subscribe. Kama unatutazama kupitia Kenya News, kimbia Afrique 24 and subscribe. All right, don't just join us from one channel. Make this other new channel your number one channel as well. So kimbia Afrique 24, subscribe. We are about to look at the papers and other news making headlines. All right, naona tayari watu wameanza kulike hii video. Namwona Onyango Boni amelike hii video, asante sana bwana Onyango. Lawrence Maina wa Ruguru, asante sana kwa kulike hii video. Thank you very much. I see you. I see bwana Kiplagat amecomment, asante sana bwana Daniel. Thank you very much. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Watu wa USA karibuni, watu wa North Horr karibuni, Mandera mjini karibuni, Garissa Township karibuni, watu wa wapi, wa Isiolo, watu wa watu wote wa Northeastern karibuni, watu wa Eastern Ukambani wote karibuni, Embu karibuni, watu wa Meru karibuni. Asante sana. Namuona Sam Muga ako ndani, asante sana. Unatazama ukiwa maeneo ya USA. Watu wa USA karibuni. Alright, KCSE ilitokea and we'll be looking at that. According to the newspaper today, the Daily Nation is saying that small school that fell giants, shule ndogo ambazo ziliangusha watu wakubwa, watu ambao wamekuwa na majina huku nje, watu ambao shule ambazo zimekuwa na shule tajika zimegongwa ama zimeonyeshwa kivumbi katika matokeo ya mitihani ambayo ilitokea just the other day. We have seen some schools suffering great challenge. For example, they're saying in KCSE 2023, Embude Secondary School sent 49 out of 79 candidates to the university. All right. So they're saying small schools that fell giants. All right. So from there, you're seeing pictures of candidates who did well in 2023 exam. This is a boy, they're saying the new kid on the block topping the charts in national exam has often been a preserve of elite club of big schools with a long history of excellent performance, but not anymore. A new crop of little known institution is out to shake up the old order and stake their claim at the space on the top. So that's what the dailies have for you. They're saying that small schools, in just the released exams or results of the KCSE 2023, that small schools have equally done well. They have impressed many, and they have shaken big giants. Those Ayesta schools we used to know of, the schools that we were calling our dream schools. You remember those days? All right. So that's what is in your Daily Nation this morning. Please as well grab your copy. But hapo juu inasema NHC on the spot over 3.2 billion unsold houses. Agencies faulted for failing to provide an inventory. Of course, that you find in your Daily Nation. I'll be telling you more as we go on, but Wadau, there is this news making headlines. We'll be diving more into the newspapers, but there is this news making headlines.
Leader, businessman Jimmy Wanjigi has today held a closed-door meeting with the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya leader Raila Odinga in what he said was to discuss matters of national importance. The meeting, which comes 2 years since the former bosom buddies had a bitter fallout in the run-up to the 2022 general election, is a sign the two could be forming a working political relationship akin to the 2013 general polls, where the billionaire was termed as the financier of Odinga's campaign. KTN's political affairs reporter Ruto interrogates the latest development.
What is the problem? They say in politics there are no permanent friends or permanent enemies, just permanent interests. 2 years since he was wrapped up and unceremoniously bundled out of the ODM National Delegates Convention held at the Kasarani Gymnasium, former presidential aspirant in the 2022 general polls Jimmy Wanjigi held a closed-door meeting with the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya leader after a period of not seeing eye to eye. Although the two leaders did not address the media after the meeting that lasted close to 2 hours in a popular Nairobi hotel, highly placed sources intimate that the two leaders discussed ways to join forces, economic decisions. Details also indicate the two discussed ways and strategies to address the high cost of living and the new taxes being introduced by the president, among others. The recent statements from the Azimio leader and the political power broker may not have come as a surprise, as the two have been speaking in tandem with each other in the recent past.
Tunasema mwaka mpya hii sheria ya kodi mpaka itolewe, ile finance bill mpaka itolewe. Asipotoa hiyo finance bill tutarudi kwenye uwanja.
I support him 101%. Street action, Maandamano are embedded in our constitution. This pain must be expressed, and let it be expressed on the streets. Let it be expressed wherever, in our homes, in our churches. We must express it.
Wanjigi and Odinga had a bitter fallout before the 20 after Odinga teamed up with the retired President Uhuru Kenyatta. Wanjigi blamed Odinga, calling him a sellout for working with Kenyatta, whom they had also had frosty relations. The two are expected to ramp up the political activities in the coming days as they seek to keep the Kenya Kwanza administration in check.
Lakini sisi wenyewe tulisema gharama maisha ilikuwa ni juu, tukamwambia serikali wasiongeze ushuru, wakazidi kuongeza ushuru, na hiyo ndio imeleta hasara kubwa kwa Wakenya.
Kenya Kwanza is going to take us and is taking us to a route of bankruptcy. That pain will be felt in 2024.
Still, it will be a wait and see as to whether the business mogul will extend an olive branch to the former President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is the chairman of the Azimio Council. Emmanuel Cho, KT News, Nairobi.
All right. So that is what happened yesterday, and we are asking ourselves, what do you make of that meeting? This is none other than Jimmy Wanjigi, who has been calling for a revolution. He's one man who has been saying, you know what, Kenya is ripe for a revolution. That is what he had championed while he was in Mombasa. Then Raila Odinga equally said that this year, 2024, there will be demonstrations, of course, as a result of the cost of living and, of course, um high prices, of course, in the food stuff and every other thing. So that is what we are looking at, and we are asking ourselves, what could this be meaning? You see, it's one thing for two people to be speaking the same thing. It's another thing when they meet, yeah, and they share, they lock in their ideas. Baba is well known to really sway the country in directions that many say are interesting. And now here is Jimmy Wanjigi, who is coming in to support what Baba is doing. Many are saying that previously Jimmy Wanjigi used to be a financier of Raila Odinga, of course, before they had a fallout. Now they are back together. So what do you expect? Fireworks, fireworks reloaded. I see many joining in. Namwona bwana Koech anasema Jimmy ni nani sasa? Hii Kenya ni bure kabisa. Alright. Rajab Wangila anasema heavily loaded with strategies coming from treating ailing government. Alright. Namwona jamaa anajiita Koigi Ndungu anasema ni porojo. Alright. Okay. Namwona Sam ako ndani akiwa maeneo ya USA. Wewe unatunga ukiwa maeneo gani? Alright. With this and other stories making headlines, I'm joined with my friend Mr. G. We are about to discuss this and more conversations making headlines. We are asking ourselves the reunion of Baba and Wajigi. These two guys have said, you know what, it's time for Kenya to revolt. It's time for Kenya to go back to the streets and seek justice, or rather, or seek or deliver itself from what Raila Odinga says is harsh taxes, is harsh policies from this regime. So that is what we will be discussing in just a few minutes. And of course, we won't take much of your time. All right, but even as you drive to work, even as you ndio najua labda umefika kazini, ndio najua labda umewafanya nini, ndio labda umeamka ndio hii show inakupata. So it's just a morning show. It won't be lengthy, but at least we'll try to inform you. We'll tell you what is in the newspapers, and we'll ask you to equally grab a copy. But above all, we'll try to really inform you what is happening around the country and even in the East Africa. All right, Mr. G, good morning.
Morning, sir. How are you?
Mr. G, good morning. I'm
Good
fantastic.
morning. Good
How
morning.
are you, sir?
I'm fine.
Aha, Mombasa kuko vipi?
Mombasa kuko sawa. Am I audible vizuri?
Very audible. You're loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. We are okay. We are doing good.
We are well.
Lakini, yeah.
All right. So, let's begin with the stories first before we go to the newspapers. Jimmy Wanjigi, the other day was in Mombasa, and you remember he had called for a revolution. He has said the country is ripe for the same, and now he meets with Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga yesterday. The meeting took place at a hotel in Nairobi, took around 2 hours, and these guys came out and didn't address the press. But what do you make of that meeting? What do you make of that reunion of these two guys who good friends before? Others say Jimmy Ojingi really financed him, Raila Odinga, that is, during other elections. Of course, they had a fallout before 2022. Jimmy Wanjigi equally wanted to be a president. Then Chebukati akamfanya ile kitu. Now he ended up one time to come on William Ruto, but it's like they had a fallout. Yeah, you remember how Uhuru Kenyatta, the president, they really harassed Jimmy Wanjigi those days. Of course, they were called the handshake brothers, but by that time, after the fallout, we didn't see much of Wanjigi and Raila Odinga. So when these two now come together, what do you make of their meeting? What do you make of what might be simmering, given that these two leaders have called for protest because of high cost of living, because of the challenges, the myriad of challenges affecting the Kenyan people? What do you make of that meeting?
Mr. Jakes, looking at how this guy is operating, even though I agree with you that there was a fallout between Wanjigi and President Uhuru Kenyatta. But remember, I think it was in 2013, yeah, this Wanjigi ndo alikuwa the pillar of that government, kwa sababu we are being told that the government was formed in this house wakati wa kwanza kabisa, wakati walikutana na Uhuru na Ruto. So he was a good friend to these guys, the two guys, who is Uhuru and Ruto. But now there is some rumors. I don't know if that was the exact point, but there's some rumors that because of those tenders, more so SGR, it was one of the factors that led to the fallout of these guys between Ruto, Uhuru, and Wanjigi. Now, when it came to 2017, I think that is the time when Baba decided to shake hands with the Uhuru. And you remember Uhuru was still not in good terms with the Wanjigi. So by the time they were still going on with their handshake, I think hapo ndo mahali na mimi kaanza kuwa mistreated sana Wanjigi. He was so much mistreated under the government of Uhuru. Na hakufurahia. And because of that, I think that is where now the fallout came in between Baba and Wanjigi. Because Wanjigi was asking himself, why is it that when Raila is my friend and he knows very well that these people are mistreating me and he's going to work with them, you see. So Wanjigi was not really involved in that handshake between Baba and the former government, which is Uhuru's government. And the mistreat between Uhuru and Wanjigi led to that more of division between the relationship that was between Raila and Wanjigi. Now, let's talk about what happens today. I've tried to look at the body language. Sijui kama unaweza play that video again and just look at the body language between Wanjigi and Baba. Although they have been speaking the same language about the revolution, about the Maandamano, and Wanjigi has come out clearly saying that he believes the Maandamano. Na anasema, in fact, this time round, watu wote watatoka, even those big people, those middle class, no, most of the time middle class walikuwa hawatoki kwa maandamano. At any time Baba calls for maandamano, the middle class have never shown themselves up. Even these people ambao matajiri pia, most of them have never shown up. But he was talking, saying that, I think it was yesterday, but one, he was saying that this is a time now whereby the middle class and even the bunyenyes watatoka waende kwa street. Why? Because economy will be affected thoroughly this year. And this guy is a businessman. He knows how business are run. And is also a man who understands how economy works. So he knows he can project. Anaweza angalia akapredict. By projecting, he will know that maybe by next year, maybe by March, maybe by June or September, things will never be the same again. Now, they have been talking the same language with Baba. Look at this body language, you see. These are the people, even though they're speaking the same language, but I don't think if they are really in that more agreement, because if ingekuwa wako in that connect, that agreement that I believe in, kitu ya kwanza, I think they want to address the media. Hata kama ingechukua 2 minutes ama 3 minutes, in fact, they want to address that media. But unaona ni kama they were in a hurry to leave. Although we are told that walikuwa pale for more than 2 hours talking. They have been speaking the same language. They believe in Maandamano. Maandamano is not a crime. Maandamano, it is in our constitution. Na inatupatia ile uwezo ya picket when things are not working. So, my take, as much as also I believe that Maandamano can bring solution to what we are going through, my take is that these guys, they should remove that differences ambao wako nayo. Waitoe kabisa. And this thing isikuwe ni kama kudandia, yani wanataka kudandia the circumstances that has come out. No. These people wanafaa watoe that pride. Kwa sababu wote wanaweza kuwa wako na pride. Kuna vene they believe. Everyone. Wanjigi kuna vene na believe in his own understanding ama theory. Baba pia kuna vene na believe in his own theory and understanding and policies. So these guys should put aside the pride in them. They sit down and find also more people ambao they believe in their ideology. Waweze kuketi chini na wa plan on how they can counter this government, which is KK government, the UDA government. Because ukweli ni kuwa UDA government has affected a lot of businesses. Businesses are not working. People have lost jobs. Yeah, investors have run away from our countries. Yeah, so tukiangalia tunapata every time and then maisha inaendelea kuwa ngumu. As much as unaweza sema unapata pesa leo kama 10,000 ama 20,000 ama 1,000, that money has no value more than it was some years back. Unaweza kuwa na pesa sasa 1,000 lakini kufika saa 5 hiyo pesa imeisha na haujui imefanya nini, because the value imepoteza value, you see. So they should sit down, these guys, and alafu create a way forward, na iwe ni kitu ambacho itakuwa constructive. They have a structure on how to counter this thing and how they can help Kenyans, because they're able. These are rich people.
Now, when you look at their fallout was slightly nasty.
Yeah.
When you look at their fallout, like what you're seeing now on the screen, this was during I think NDC ODM in Kasarani, and Jimmy Wanjigi was thrown out badly. But today, or rather yesterday, them walking together like this, bumper to bumper, and shaking hands and all, and of course, all smiles, all happy. Could we now say that the issues that bedeviled Wanjigi are now a thing of the past? They are ready to work together?
Yeah, they can still work together. You know, these people, it's not that they are enemies, they are friends. It is Wanjigi who thought that it was a wrong motive for Baba to go and work with Uhuru, because Uhuru has been mistreating Wanjigi, you see. So it was just on perspective of Wanjigi that Baba was doing wrong. It was wrong for Baba to go and work with Wanjigi, and yet he work with Uhuru, and yet he's his friend. See at Walikosana? No. The problem was that handshake of Uhuru and Baba. That's where the fallout came in between Wanjigi and Baba. But these people, they have been friends. In fact, I think it was in 2017, whereby many of people thought that it is Wanjigi who financed the campaign of Baba. I think it was 2017, yeah. Yeah, many people believed it because they were so close. So they have never been enemies. But because of that disappointment, you know, sometimes in politics, there's a lot of betrayal.
And when you look at this, at one time, Jimmy Wanjigi had requested Baba, or rather had asked that when nominations the ODM, so that we have a bona fide presidential candidate. Of course, it is some of the reasons that led to Wanjigi in a party. What do you make of him now meeting Raila Odinga? Is he now coming back to either work with Raila Odinga, of course, not from the same party, but now work with him in as much as now they're unified because of a common enemy?
He may come back, because you remember he decided to run as a president, but hakutoboa. He wanted to be a presidential candidate, but hakufaulu. But at this time round, I think, even though just look at the last moments of before 2022 election, that last moments, huyu jamaa alikuwa so close na Ruto, more than he was so close than na Baba, because by that time, that is the time when he was just fighting Baba on every corner. He was just fighting Baba, and he was somehow closer to Ruto. Now, after Ruto taking power, it is as if that this guy amekuwa disappointed. Maybe he expected to get something from this government of UDA, na hajapata that thing that he was expecting. So he's disappointed. You see, by that disappointment, I think he's now going back to go and work with Baba because they're still friends. It's not that they're enemies. He can still go back and work with Baba. Na anaweza fanya kazi vizuri sana. And me, I believe that Wanjigi, if ukweli anataka kusaidia wa Kenya, then he is in a position because of the finances and everything. He is in a position. Although hajakuwa kwa politics sana ile vocally how kina Baba wamekuwa, but he's a person that has an idea on how the government is run. He's a person who have an idea on how the governance is being done. Yeah, so he can come back and work with Baba well. But I know it was just because of disappointments. With maybe he expected something from this government. Now Ruto amemweka parking. You see, hakuna mahali Ruto amemsaidia, hakuna anything Ruto amemsaidia. The same way na kina nani, this guy huyu jamaa alikuwa tunasema Sonko also expected something from this government, but tunapata pia he was sidelined. Sasa kumekuwa na fununu kwa anataka kurudi pia Azimio, but I will advise Baba she should not take back Sonko because Sonko ni mnyama. Although this guy pia kuna somebody ambaye alikuwa anasema kuwa anaweza kuwa ako na another motive of coming back and learning some skills on how information on how Azimio is doing so that he can use it somewhere else. We don't know, but for me, I think maybe let me just believe that he has a good motive by what he's running, because in this government at the moment we need revolution. If we need to succeed in this country, we need revolution. Without revolution, how to survive? Yeah.
Now, the revolution you're talking about, it's what Jimmy Wanjigi has been calling for the last couple of days. So let's listen in kidogo before I bring the newspapers. All right.
Party leader Jimmy Wanjigi has warned President William Ruto of a possible revolt by Kenyans against his government over high taxation and the executive's punitive policies that are suffocating livelihoods. The 2022 presidential candidate says it is time the government pays attention to Kenyans or faces countrywide protests against the punitive tax regime. Wanjigi spoke while attending the burial of Safina Party Secretary General John Dominic Wamagata at the PCA Mamangina grounds in Kikuyu constituency.
Na muwezi kila siku munaamuka munatuumiza, munaleta ushuru, munaleta sijui nini. Na kwanza ni watu wa hapa ambao wanaumia zaidi. Kweli ama si kweli? Ni watu wa hapa wanaumia zaidi. Na watu wa hapa ndio waliweka nyinyi. Kweli ama si kweli? Kama si nyinyi wangekuwa basi. Halafu wanakuja kumchezea. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Na mjue hii ni Januari 2024. Mmepatiwa the truth. Muko na miezi 3 namna hii. Kama hamutabadilisha hii mwenendo, haya.
What do you make of hizo miezi 3? Now already ndio hawa wamemeet na Raila Odinga. Is there a preparation of something huge to come?
Yeah, there's a preparation of something, and it's about that that revolution that he was talking about. I think they're trying to find a structure on how they can lead the revolution. But now the problem is that are we really people? Are we ready for this revolution? Because this guy, the problem is that Ruto does not believe in our constitution, and he will kill people. And yet it is our constitution that gives us that mandate to picket. It gives us the mandate to Maandamano, you see. And it is Maandamano that has led to a lot of this freedom that we are having. Even we in this studio speaking the way we are speaking, it is not all the product of Maandamano. So Maandamano is not a crime. At the moment, I know they are trying to structure out on how they can lead the revolution, but my problem and my worries is about we people. I don't know if we are really ready for this thing, because I'm trying to compare ourselves on the situation that we are in and how the Jasmine revolution happened, and I find that for us we are still wanting. But hatujafikia that gear ya kusema we can lead for a revolution right at the moment. But I think the meeting, it was just to organize on how they can do it, because they know that this government will never, they will not deliver in the next 3 months. They will not deliver. In fact, things are continuing to be worse and worse every day. So the meeting, it was just to structure on how they can do this thing. Yeah.
All right. All right. Now, the exams are out. What do you make of the results even before I project anything? Form 4's exams zilitokea. What do you make of it even before I project anything on our screens? What do you, from where you
Yeah.
sit, what do you make of it?
Looking at what happened to our primary education last time, the results, it was a lot of contradiction and a lot of confusion, whereby we did not see the transparency in it. Now, looking at what happened to our KCSE, the secondary education, I still don't see the transparency, because look, we are being told that there were almost 800,000 people. Yeah, there were almost 800 and something thousand children, those who participated in this examination. But 700 and something, 700 and something, they got less. Was it less than C? Yeah, we're
Yeah,
being told almost
hii
700,
ya raundi hii
almost
ilikuwa
700.
walikuwa wengi sana.
Yeah, around 700 and something thousand, yeah, got less than C. And tunakuja tunapata almost 50,000 plus got an E. So, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions. Because how comes out of 800 and so number, 700 something, they have done nothing? There's some questions. For me, I think I still believe in what Kina Baba said, that there will be confusion also in the camp, because they talked about this issue when the exams results were released for primary. Azimio came out and said that even the secondary one, it will just be the same thing. And I think there's something wrong with our education system. We need to find out how we can come out of this mess, because this is just a mess. Yeah, there is a mess. Yeah.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, many are saying that exams zilikuwa ngumu, wengine wanasema hazikuwa ngumu. But on our daily papers, what I've shown you just now is that, or rather, let's begin with Taifa Leo. Taifa Leo had this for you, and this is what Taifa Leo had. Inaongelea miamba wapya. Now talking of the new guys in town, the new schools, the new institutions that are making headlines compared to the old boys and girls in those schools that we used to term as prestigious or big schools. They're saying that the new counties, the new schools are this nini are small, but I can see the counties. Wanasema there is a school in Vihiga County that really did so well. I think it had 10.4. There's a school in Chemil Sugar, actually Chemil Sugar Academy. There is Kianga Tumaini Boys High School that came in third. Of course, it was in line with also St. Teresa Mboni Girls in Makueni, and Lalwek Boys in Nandi. They all came at third place. Moi Girls High School Eldoret, Wasingishu County, with a mean grade of 9.5. Kulikuwa na Sheikh Khalifa Secondary School in Mombasa with 9.42. There was Tamwek High School in Bomet County. There was Oriero High School in Homa Bay, Mutaita PAG Secondary School in Nyamira. There was Kisasi Secondary School in Kitui. There was St. Francis Rongai Girls Siaya. There was St. Anne, among many schools that came in top. And of course, the picture projected are the candidates being celebrated, and this is what Taifa Leo is reading, that baadhi ya shule zenye majina makubwa zilizovuma katika mitihani hapo zamani zafunikwa na ndogo zisizojulikana sana. So small schools did so well, and the guy on your picture there is Vincent Kailikia, I think. alizoa alama ya A ya point 84. Amebebwa hobela na walimu na wazazi wa shule ya upili ya Njia Boys, Igembe Central, Meru County, jana baada ya kung'aa katika mtihani wake wa KCSE. Of course, you can see from your screens that boy, they were in celebrations and they were really happy. This is in line with the results that came out yesterday. Now, I don't know. We are yet to hear very deep allegations of schools ambazo ziku perform or rather zilikuwa na results zenye zilisumbua kama za KCPE, but what do you make of students wanaanguka wengi? Is it the exam marking? Is it the standardization that they used to talk about those days? What do you make of it?
We are not sure how marking are done, but maybe tunaweza sema maybe inaweza kuwa inachangia, because looking at the percent, look at out of 800 and something, 700 and something wamepata less than C. You see, this is a big problem, and that's whereby we need to sit down and try to investigate. We need to have a forensic edit on these things to understand how comes, kwa nini watu wanaweza anguka hivyo, even though we are seeing that hapa tumeandikwa kuwa kuna miamba myupa wapya, miamba wapya. Yeah, I've seen new schools coming out, but mostly they are not really new, because looking at kama mimi from our western area, there's a school called Butla. Butla is a school that has been performing, imekuwa ikiperform vizuri in western, and even this time round naona imetokezea ikiwa imeperform vizuri sana in western.
So it's not really a new school, eh?
No, they are not new schools, because most of them wamekuwa kiperform kitambo. Those are our days. These schools were performing well, but at the moment sasa inaonekana kuwa ni kama they are new, but they are not new. Yeah, these are schools that have been performing well some years back.
All right. We equally have the East Africa with us, and the East Africa is talking about why Uganda and Kenya's fallout won't last. This is interesting, because we saw in the dailies the other day, or rather we had this in the other day when we were talking about Uganda taking Kenyan to court because of Mambo na Mafuta and all. But the East African newspaper, this is what they have in their newspaper. They're saying why Uganda Kenya fallout may not last. They're saying that they are important trading partners in spite of spats, and their divorce would impact their intra-East Africa trade. Besides, the Kampala's option may prove more expensive. Now, what do you make of this? Can Uganda survive without Kenya? Of course, it can equally use Tanzania, because Tanzania equally is not a landlocked country, but maybe Kenya has been giving them proper deals. So when you look at what the East Africa Standard is reporting, what do you make of it? Do you think that Kenya and Uganda can mend fences and work together despite them taking each other to court?
Yeah, Uganda can still come back and work with Kenya again, because comparing to East African countries, when you compare our services and how our port operates with that one of Tanzania, I think we are much higher than how Tanzania does their work. And for us, we have been the gateway of East Africa. Yeah, and we have been higher than all these countries. Now, Uganda has been depending on us in almost everything. Their export, they have been exporting to us, they have been importing to us. And the problem is that most of our people, this corruption, the corruption and the dark deals, ndio zinafanya tunakusana na Uganda. But still, if they can just come back and sit down na wapate, and they sit on the table and discuss and have a way out of this mess, they can still work together. But another thing you need to know, we need to talk about is this issue of Uganda, of Tanzania, because it is as if Tanzania is now growing faster than we expected. They're doing good than we expected. It's a country that tulikuwa tunaidarau, but at the moment tunaona ni kama even their economy, they're coming out faster than how we expected. And if we cannot do our things right here in Kenya, they may take us. Wanaweza tupita. Yeah, na wakitupita, Uganda can still do with them the business. They can still have deals with them. Na watuache kabisa, because hawatakuwa affected. Tanzania has the Indian Ocean. Yeah, it can still import from the Indian Ocean. They have ports. They can still take goods from their port. So it is we Kenyans to sit down with Uganda na tuongee, we find a solution to work with them. But tukiwa na, you know, sometimes we people kwa tuna ile madarau, ile kuonekana sisi we are the best, we are good, wacha hao wakitaka kwenda waende, they will come back if they want to come back. They can go na wakose kurudi, you see. Na wakikosa kurudi, some of our people wanaumia. You know, like in the moment, Mr. Jex, at the moment, utapata, like the current situation that we are in Kenya, sahi, utapata the hustlers. These are people who are suffering a lot. Yeah, these are people who are suffering a lot. But wale wakubwa, CAS, CAS, the cabinet secretaries, those are people who are swimming in money. Unapata jamaa ananunua manguo za millions of money. So they don't have this problem that hustlers are passing through. So it is we Kenyans to stand up to this thing called revolution, ambao kina Wanjigi are talking about, to force this government to listen to we hustlers, because sisi ndo tunaumia. Hustlers are the people who are suffering. Na sisi ndo watu ambao hata hizi deals za nini zikiharibika, this mambo business that we are working with Uganda kiharibika Kenya Tanzania, hustlers are the people who are suffering, not these big guys. Big guys hawaumii, but the hustlers, wale ambao wanafanya transport, wale ambao wanafanya clearing, wale ambao wanafanya those small things, the hustlers wataumia sana. So I think we need to find a way how we can force this government to listen to us.
All right. Now, going back to what we were just discussing just now, the Daily Nation has it that Raila Odinga and Jimmy Wanjigi worked together before, before falling apart ahead of the 2022 polls. And this is what the Daily Nation is saying. I think this is on page 10 of your Daily Nation. It says that Raila Odinga and Jimmy Wanjigi, or rather Wanjigi, met in city after threats to hold protests. All right. Both political leaders have castigated Kenya Kwanza government over high cost of living in the country. Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga yesterday held a meeting with Safa Party, of course, 2022 presidential aspirant Jimmy Wanjigi, barely a few days after both leaders won a return of demonstrations over increased taxation. The lunch meeting at hotel in Nairobi lasted close to 2 hours, with both leaders remaining mum on the details. The Nation, however, understands that the meeting centered on the rising cost of living and increased taxation by Kenya Kwanza government. It is not clear whether both leaders agreed on immediate action. All right. They're equally saying that a few days ago, both leaders called out the government over rising cost of living that has led to economic hardship among Kenyans. On December 30th, 2023, Mr. Odinga called on the government to withhold the Finance Act 2023, or else he would mobilize his supporters to go back to the streets. The cost of living is high. We told them not to increase the taxes, but they have continued doing the opposite. The Finance Act must be repealed in its entirety. If they do not do it, we will go back to the streets. Of course, that's what Raila Odinga says. Of course, the headache of the Finance Act seems not to be going away. And we are almost preparing the next one. What do you make of this Finance Act? We used to have it, si ati ni kitu mpya, but hii imetikisa nchi a whole year. What do you make of what was the Finance Act?
You know, in the former years, hatukuwa tunaelezwa how these things are being done. It was not transparent when ilikuwa this time round. So tulikuwa tunaambiwa tu juu alafu inapitishwa. But this time round, it was open. Each and every person was able to read, was able to go through it and see na akaona where there are challenges na mali kitu ambao haifevi. But another thing ni kuwa from other financial bills, this financial bill imekuwa more so affecting to mwananchi wa chini sana. Ilikuwa ina praise mwananchi wa chini sana. Yeah, this guys aliweka a lot of policies in it that hazijakuwa mzuri. That's why unapata most of people waliona wanafinyika nayo, ndio sababu imekuwa vocal sana hivyo. But those other financial bills hazikuanga transparent, hazikuanga zinaletwa mostly kwa watu kuangalia na kuweka that pressure so much. But sasa pressure imekuwa too much kwa sababu watu wameweza kuisoma, watu wameweza kuelewa. And another thing at the current how do you call this current generation, a lot of people wanataka kujua what is really happening. Kitambo watu walikuwa hawana haja, yeye bora maambiwa kitu basi, akiambiwa kitu hataki kusoma, you see. But the moment mtu akiambiwa kitu, with this generation ataka asome haelewe. So most of people came out wakasoma na wakaona kuwa it was oppressing. The financial bill was oppressing. That's why unaona this thing now, because of that oppression and everything of high taxes and nini, that's why you see our business zimekuwa zimeharibika. That's why you see economy imekuwa imeharibika, and all these things were in that financial bill. But there's one thing that I wanted to add, Mr. Jakes. On Wanjigi coming out, Wanjigi is a businessman. What if he maybe also experienced some losses in his business? That's why he's now pushing hard on this thing. Kwa sababu anaona kama his business also imekuwa affected sana.
So it could be also selfish interest from them, eh?
Yeah, it may be interest because he's a businessman and maybe he's so much affected here. That's why he's coming out strong, say evil.
Of course, equally what we are following up is the war between the president and the litigants taking him to court. And one of the things that we are talking about this morning is the letter that is appearing now on your newspaper, that is Taifa Leo, and it says that hii ni barua ya mtu amemwandikia rais, I think ni jamaa anajiita David Mwao, and this is what David Mwao is saying. David Mwao is saying that Rais Ruto abebe msalaba wake mwenyewe. Okay, anasema naunga mkono seneta wa Busia Okiya Omtata kwamba Rais William Ruto anapaswa kubeba msalaba wake mwenyewe na kamwe asiwaingilie majaji wa Kenya waliowasilisha kesi kupinga kodi ya nyumba na ile ya afya katika mapungufu ya uongozi wake na serikali ya Kenya Kwanza. Ukweli ni kwamba mwenye macho aambiwi tazama. Kila Mkenya ni shahidi wa mambo yanavyoendelea na hawapasi kunyamaza endapo wanahisi wanakandamizwa. Of course ni barua ambayo ameandikiwa Rais Ruto katika gazeti lako la Taifa Leo, na jamaa anaitwa David Mwao. Anamuelezea kwamba anamuunga mkono seneta wa Busia, ya kwamba kila Mkenya na kila Mkenya ana wajibu wa kwenda kotini, na pia majaji pia wana wajibu wa kufanya kazi yao endapo kuna mmoja ambaye amekandamizwa, ana haki ya kutafuta haki kotini. So hiyo ndiyo moja ya zile mambo ambazo amemwandikia hapo katika barua yake hapo katika gazeti lako la Taifa Leo. Kwa hivyo pata nakala yako ya Taifa Leo ili uweze ukajua mbivu na mbichi yaliyomo ndani ya hiyo barua. All right, what do you make of the fight of William Ruto and Senator Omtata? Is it a fight that will go anywhere anytime soon?
Yeah, I stand with Senator Omtata because it's very true. The guy should just carry his cross. Mr. Jakes, when the guy came in power that day, the day of inauguration, huyu jamaa hata before akule lunch, sijui kama atakuwa amekula lunch, akatokezea nje akachukua wale judges ambao walikuwa wamekataliwa na former president Uhuru Kenyatta. What was the hurry of this guy? Why was it that alikuwa atoke that day? Mbona hangeketi tu chini kwanza study these guys, ajue the reasons why Uhuru refused to take these guys. Yeye anaingia anasifu koti, anasifu judges, anaamua kupatiana sijui alipromise sijui bilioni ngapi za pesa, and he just give those guys job without even going back to list to do some investigation on why this guy walikuwa hajachukuliwa. You know, sir, when things are going in mess, he should just carry his course. But the problem is that even if he carry his course, this is what about Naumia. Councillors, we are the only people who are still suffering. You see? So, yeah, tutamwambia abebe msalaba wake, but we are suffering as hustlers. I think something need to be done. There's something that I wanted to talk about before you brought this point, Mr. Yex. You know, I think it is in 1981, between 1981 and 98. Yeah, there's a president that was in America who found it was, I think, before 1991. Yeah, kuna president ambaye alikuwa ameacha deni kubwa sana in America. He was in America na alikuwa ameingiza that country in a situation where we are in, we here today as Kenyans. Walikuwa with a lot of there were a lot of messes and debits in that country. But when Ronald Reagan came in, we have been told that Ronald Reagan brought some change in that country. There's some policies that he used. Now, those policies brought in some change and relief. One of it was to allow businessmen, the private businessmen, to have a space to do their businesses. You see, and another thing is it was not about taxing, because he did not tax everyone from right and center. No, he did not tax people, and he gave space to private sectors and the businessmen to do their business. But now the difference with our current situation with our president, the president is not even he doesn't want even the private sectors to do their businesses. It's as if that he's fighting them to run out of our country because of their taxes. He has burdened a lot of our hustlers with the taxes. So he's doing things, in fact, differently from the other people who found the situation the same way we found it, but they worked on it, now kapata solution. For him, he's now worsening the situation. He will never deliver us from this problem. That's why you are seeing Kina Wanjigi talking about revolution and meeting to plan on this thing, because they know that the guy has no policy and doesn't have that knowledge on how, of delivering us from the situation that we are in. Yeah.
All right. Now, even as we near wrapping up, the president has been going so much at length to blame the judiciary. Now, yesterday he went to the level of saying that in the previous regime there was money budgeted to bribe judges. How true do you make of that statement? Can a whole president, can a whole cabinet which he used to serve in call for for there to be what do you call it, a budget to bribe judges? Or what do you make of such a statement coming from the head of state, that there was money in the previous regime to corrupt judges?
Yeah, the guy has always making a lot of reckless statements. Bila kujua, is it because he doesn't listen to his advisors? Because he's just someone who doesn't listen to anyone, appending any advice, and he cannot listen to anyone, even though he was in the same government. You know, this is a guy ambaye amekuwa kwa parliament, I think from 90s. Amekuwa kwa parliament from 90s, and the last 10 years, almost 11 years, he was in the government. So he knows how these people operate. Even though we in Azimio, tuko pamoja na Uhuru, always this one thing that you need to know, Mr. Jeff, that being with Uhuru is not that he was the best. No, Uhuru was not the best. He used to do a lot of things about hazikuwa sawa. But we congratulate him for the development, for this mambo ya barabara. Unaona vile anajenga barabara. Yeah, we give him a thumbs up, because he did a good job on those new development. But it's not that with this governance, with everything, that he was the best. He was not the best. But when we compare Uhuru with this guy here, the president here today, Uhuru was the best when we compare him with this guy. But hizo miaka zingine ambazo amekuwa nyuma, amekuwa akifanya vitu ambazo hatufurahizi nazo, hatuzipendi. So talking about maybe setting aside money to bribe these people, maybe those are the things they are doing. We cannot dispute it, because amekuwa pale ndani, you see. And maybe those are things that they were doing with Uhuru. Unless he's coming out kwa sababu anaona mambo imechemuka. Now another to expose himself. You see, yeah, because anaona things are not working on the way he wanted.
Now, with that allegation of bribing judges, if that is true, how comes Uhuru was not able to bribe the judges and win a court case, especially the major one, the BBI case? If that is true, if there was budgeted money for bribing judges, how comes they never bribed the judges to win that major important constitutional change that they were seeking for as the handshake team? That, of course, was the BBI. Why did it fall if there was such money set aside to bribe judges?
Jex, on the issue of Uhuru and Baba on the last election, we cannot expect Baba to perform, to participate in such allegation, ama to participate in corruption, ama to participate in bribing judges just to win election. Baba knew that he will win this election 100%. He knew, because he knew that he has a great supporter and he believed that he will win. So on the issue of bribing, I don't think Baba angeza kukubali mupenda bribe kwa sababu anataka kushinda. Baba will never take part in bribes like that. And that's why alikuwa akisimama anaambia Uhuru wewe nisaidie tu on some area, but on an issue of bribing and everything, no, hapo hasitahusika. Tusihusika kwa mambo ya bribe. Ingekuwa ni bribe. They had money. Uhuru has money. Nini ingemshinda? But another thing that we need to talk about on the same issue, another thing, this guy believes in bribing. Ruto believes in bribing. Na anaweza kuwa alikuwa amesha bribe judges na hangesikiza. But Baba cannot take part in bribes. Hiyo tumtoe kabisa hapo.
All right. Angela, habari ya asubuhi.
Nzuri Jex, habari yako?
Tuko wazima kabisa. Tuko hapa na Mr. J, tunajaribu kuchambua magazeti na yaliyomo katika mataarifa za habari. Sasa umekuja tukizingatia hili swala ambalo rais jana alisema ya kwamba serikali iliyopita ilikuwa inatenga pesa ya kuhonga majaji. Kwanza nianze na hiyo swali. Wewe unaona kama Uhuru wakiwa na serikali ambayo ilipita walikuwa wanatenga pesa kuwa hii ni ya kuhonga mahakimu na majaji kotini ili kesi zao ziepita? Na kama ni kweli, basi mbona kesi nyingi za Uhuru zilikuwa zinaanguka? Pili, mbona BBI ilianguka? Tatu, mbona kesi ya Supreme Court ile ya kubadilisha matokeo ya uchaguzi ilianguka? So kama ni ukweli alikuwa na budget ya kuhonga majaji, mbona kesi zake hazikuwa zinapita ili tuseme basi ni ukweli hii ilikuwa ni kitu walikuwa wanafanya in the previous regime?
Unajua Ruto, mi humuona saa zingine ni kama anakaa kama anachanganyikiwa na akili, anakuwa mwelekeo kufanya na akisema serikali iliyopita ilikuwa inahonga mahakama, charges. He was among the government, so he knows chenye walikuwa wanafanya. Alafu unaona if it happens majaji wamegeuka kitu chenye amefanya, wanamwambia si halali, haifai, haiko constitutional, it is unconstitutional, na vitu zenye anafanya anasema mahakama inahongwa. Lakini wakati wa election, wakati walisema alipita kura, haikuwa kuhongwa. Wakati alikuwa anapigana BBI ianguke, haikuwa kuhongwa. So kuhongwa imekuja wakati wa House Levy na hii ni NHIF yenye anasema inataka kubadilishwa hiyo. Sasa ndio mahakama wanahongwa. Na kama anasema serikali ilikuwa inatenga pesa, anaweza tutishia ya kwamba ndio hizi pesa zenye serikali iliyopita ilikuwa inatenga kuhonga mahakama. Akona evidence ya kutosha kutuonyesha kwamba hivi ndio mahakama inahongwa.
Na yeye ndio rais,
Unajua
mbona hatumii mamlaka yake kuhakikisha ya kwamba na ushiriki katika hongo hatua zinachukuliwa kinyume na wao?
Unajua yeye wakati alikula kiapo alisema ya kwamba atalinda Kenya kulingana na katiba ya Kenya. Lakini sasa hii amekuwa yeye si wa kufanya nini? Wa kulinda Kenya kulingana na katiba yake. Kulingana na katiba ya Kenya anataka afanye vitu zake. Hazifurahishi watu, hataki kusikia watu. Misleading Kenyans and all his supporters hawana mwelekeo, hawajui ni nini wanafaa kufanya. Sometimes ukiona reasoning yao unaweza dhania ni watu wenye hawajaenda shule, kumbe ni watu wenye wamesoma. Naona anapoteza wa Kenya. So it means wanajaribu kutuambia ya kwamba any sitting president will be breaking the laws, alafu anafanya vitu zake. That's what they mean, because yeye na Uhuru ndio watu wenye wamefanya nini, wamekuwa kinyume na mahakama juu na inawapea direction ya wanafanya vitu unconstitutional na mahakama haitaki. And that is the reason why Maraga said that ukiingia judiciary, kama utaingiza siasa ya Kenya utapoteza Kenya, na kama utafanya kulingana na sheria ya Kenya utafanya nini, Kenya itasonga mbele. Unajua sasa Ruto akona madharau na justice ni mwanamke, so anaona huyu mwanamke ni nini anaweza niambia, ni nini anaweza fanya, you know. There's nothing this lady can tell me to do and to stop, cannot stop me from doing my own things. Hiyo ndio shida iko na yeye.
All right. Now ukiangalia jinsi ambavyo anasema atatumia mamlaka yake kusimamisha ufisadi kotini, unaona anamaanisha nini?
Unajua anasema atatumia mamlaka yake kusimamisha ufisadi kotini. Yeye ni kama akili inamwambia Raila Odinga na other Mount Kenya leaders like Jimmy Wanjigi ni kama wanahonga koti kustopisha miradi zake zenye si halali. But in really sense hata objects, unajua baba hananga pesa ya kupeana ovyo ovyo. So kama atastopisha itastopisha side yake, because wakati aliingia kotini, wakati aliingia sikuna kesi zilisimamishwa kabisa, akasema kesi fulani itolewe, kesi fulani itolewe. Akina CS Aisha Juma si walikuwa na kesi na zikatupiliwa mbali. Mbona yake inatupiliwa mbali lakini ya mwingine haifai kufanyiwa hivyo? When he comes on his side anaona ya kwamba lazima kesi zitupiliwe mbali, nafanye venye wafanye venye nataka, lakini ikifika side wanaoppose vitu zake hataki. Na unajua hana uwezo na nini kucontrol mahakama.
Na swali langu la mwisho kulingana na wewe, je, unaonaje matokeo ya mtihani ambao ulitokea jana? Ni jana ama ni juzi?
Matokeo niliona yakiwa si mabaya vile. Although nilikuwa na maswali, why do you have so many E's? Shida iko wapi? Tunafaa kurekebishia wapi? Because niliona national school will produce 889 A's. Alafu sasa tukakuja kwa E zikawa 40,000, meaning in our education kuna mahali kuna shida, inafaa kurekebishwa mahali. So I don't know where the problem is. Hatujui ni kwa wazazi, hatujui ni kwa walimu, hatujui ni kwa wanafunzi, in between hatujui. But chenye tunajua sometimes it ni challenge kwa wale wanafunzi wa zile day school. Sometimes unapata parents struggle a lot to get school fees, so unapata mtoto like ako shule leo
All right. Naona Angie amefanya ile kitu, lakini Mr. G, tunapomalizia, lakini unakubaliana na Angie anaposema ya kwamba William Ruto mwelekeo wake na mtazamo wake ni kinyume kabisa na jinsi ambavyo Rais Uhuru Kenyatta alivyokuwa akifanya kazi, na of course madai yake ya kumshinikizia kwamba rais aliyestaafu alikuwa anashiriki katika hali ya kuhonga majaji ni njia tu ya kuhadaa Wakenya kwa sababu hana mengi ya kusema.
Yeah, naweza kubaliana na watu Angie amesema, because even the time ya Uhuru's regime, although there's one thing that we need to make it clear, Mr. Jakes. There's one thing we need to make it clear. Our judges are so corrupt. That's the fact. Our judges are so corrupt. So on the last regime, I am sure that Uhuru with his team, kuna vile walikuwa wakifanya mambo yao ambayo haikuwa sawa pia. Alafu with this guy ambaye sasa anajiita is a president, purport to be okay, he's a president, sikatai. But now he has every instrument of power. Why is he lamenting about corruption, and yet he knows that corruption is a crime in Kenya? Mbona hizi enda kashika our judges? As much as I know that our judges are corrupt, our judges are not straightforward, are not transparent, and also these judges need reforms. Kwa sababu a lot of people tumeona innocent people are being jailed. Innocent kabisa, they're being jailed because of this corruption that is going on with these judges. So we need a lot of reforms. But hiyo haiwezi sema nikakubaliana na what is Ruto is talking about. This Ruto, wakati the judges, the corrupt judges, huyo Kome is a corrupt judge, alimtangaza akisema kuwa our election ilikuwa our petition ilikuwa hot air, ilikuwa white goods. The guy alipiga magoti akawa analia akisema judgment imetoka kwa Mungu. Alipiga magoti akalia kabisa mpaka anadanganya machozi inatoka, machozi ya crocodile, the crocodile tears, akisema hiyo ni judgment ya Mungu. Sasa hii those judges wameona kuwa even though naweza sema kuwa I think these judges they trusted the lies of this guy, kwa sababu wakati this guy alikuwa na campaign he promised a lot of things na akawa anajihusisha sana akiwa connected sana na hustlers. Sasa every person, a large number of people believe that this guy is coming to help us, but 1 year plus imepita, wanaona everything just going astray. Mess is zinaendelea kuwa. Sasa I think people are just disconnecting with him. Even judges, I think at time imefika wameanza ku disconnect with him. As much as I know they are corrupt, but inafika sometimes pia wanasema hapana, hii imezidi. So it just thing ambayo inaitwa hii hapana, and it is trying to happen right now kwa sababu ameona imezidi sana. But if it issue ya corruption, this guy is a master in corruption. Ruto is a master in corruption. Kama ni mambo ya kuhonga judges, this guy is a master in hongering judges. So akianza kulament sahi, that shows that he has no power. Hajui ku manage this country. He cannot manage the country. Hajui nini? Hajui kazi ya president ni nini? A president cannot go around and answer lament at judges corruption, and yet he has the mandate and the all instrument of power to handle this issue. So the guy may fail. But on the issue of education,
all right,
on that issue ambao ameongelea akisema at education among results is quite at least better. I can tell you Angie that results were not better, because out of 800,000 plus children performing and participating in that education, I have 700 plus wanaanguka. That cannot be congratulated. No. Hiyo ilikuwa mbaya sana. In fact, it is worse.
All right. So asante sana Mr. G na Angie. Angie, maoni yako ya mwisho itakuwa yapi tunapomalizia?
Hello, nani sikia?
Hello, nakusikia.
Najua network yangu inakuanga tu mbovu, sijui ni kwa nini. So mimi nasema hivi, anyway, Mr. President anatuongoza vibaya, anatumia kifua. You know, amesema kuna mbinu mbadala ambayo atatumia ya kufanya yenye atatumia make sure judges wamefanya venye yeye anataka. So if a president anasimama na kifua kuongea hivyo, what do you expect? Mtu ka senator kama Jeregei ni nini yeye ataongea sasa? You know? Ni mbegu gani anapanda watu kwa watu wenye wako chini yake? Naona? Si anapanda mbegu mbaya juu, inamaanisha watakuwa wanajipika kifua, sisi tuko na rights, we can do anything we want. No. And that's why they are the only house, sababu ati anatenga nyumba, anabomolea watu manyumba, anataka kujenga manyumba alafu unaweka watu nje wanalala nje, unachukua mashamba zao. Anyway, hii miaka imebaki ni mingi kulingana na venye anatutunza, lakini haingekuwa mingi kama angepeleka Kenya vilivyo. Nataka kuongelea matokeo. Nani amesema ati mimi nimesema I just congratulate kwa wale wenye walipita, nasema heko. Na kwa all education system iko na shida. Mimi sioni kama kuna vile hata hii mwaka wanasema KCSE itatangazwa, bado iko na shida juu. Hiyo siku niliona ile Nancy Macharia anasema they need 99,000 teachers. Then Mojoko anaamka anasema we have employed 18 more, 20 more thousand. You know, can you get that difference? Meaning kuna gap kubwa sana, kuna wanafunzi hafikiwangi na mwalimu because of overworking teachers. Unaona? Kuna mwanafunzi hafikiwi, and that's why we had 48,000. Unaona? So instead of Ruto akae chini aseme hizi pesa za kujenga nyumba nimeziweka kwa education, support education system, we are now employing teachers. Yeye anasema nini? Anasema anajenga nyumba. You know, hizo ndo vitu ni kama Jex. President wetu hana vision yoyote ya ku make Kenya opportunities for Kenyans. Unaona? Yeye ako tu na vision ya kuweka Kenya kwa shimo. Juu pesa zenye anajengea nyumba hizi zenye watu hawataki, nyumba zenye analazimisha nazo watu, akisema aziweke kwa education system, I employ more teachers. You know, atakuwa ame-improve education system. Next year akisema hii pesa ya kufanya hiki kitu fulani, wacha tu weke kwa building companies in Kenya to employ more. So anasema saa hii vijana wamepata employment. Employment gani ya mjengo yenye umepata? Unatoka kuwa umechoka kama umbo, umebeba kokoto, umebeba mawe. Ni employ gani amepata? Like utapata hizo tenders za machuma, za mabati, za mamawe, ni watu wake ndio wamefanya nini? Wamepewa hizo tenders. Wewe unaona tu hustler sima akisema mimi ni hustler, Ruto amenipea tenda ya kusupply chuma kwa site ya kujenga. Employment ametafutia watu wake na yeye mwenyewe. Na si ajabu upate kampani ina supply chuma ni yake, kampani ina supply mawe ni lori zake. Unaona? So vijana wetu wanafaidika tu na kufanya nini? Na kujenga. So atakuwa na nyumba the whole of his term. Nothing else will yenye atafanya. Hiyo sio.
All right. Mr. G, kauli mbiu yako ya mwisho?
Kauli ya mwisho ni I will urge Kenyans to stand together na hustlers. Yeah, I have seen people trying to praise this government, wakisema government inaendelea vizuri, government iko on the right track. Government is not on the right track. A lot of people are suffering, a lot of businessmen are suffering, watu wamekosa kazi. So a time comes that hustlers wa Kenya wote, they need to stand as in unity, as one, and they fight for their life. Kwa sababu asipopigana, this thing inaenda kuwa worse. People have seen it. Businessmen have seen it. Investors have seen it. A lot of them wamekimbia, wametuacha hapa Kenya. So if we cannot stand together and fight for our own life, tunaenda kuangamia. A time comes that we say enough is enough. Na sasa ndio time imefika ambapo tunapata to say enough is enough. We need to call for revolution in this country for us to succeed. For those who are supporting this government, you should know that the government imeumiza watu wengi sana. I don't know what you are supporting, but the government imeumiza watu wengi na imefail. We gave them 100 days, walishindwa. We gave them 1 year, wameshindwa. So in more than 1 year imeisha, still we don't see signs of coming out of this problem. So we need to stand as a unit, as one, in unity, and call for revolution. Revolution litatukomboa kwa hii, lakini bila hivyo hakuna mahali tunaenda. We need evolution.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to leave you with a clip. I want to leave you with a clip ambayo itatusaidia kumalizia. It is something that Farah Maalim said this morning. I found it interesting. Wacha tusikize alafu maybe tutarudi to summarize.
He said the courts are supposed to serve Kenyans equally, which is supposed to be the case. Judicial officers are public employees, and I assure you that I will deal firmly and decisively with corruption in the courts. He said that yesterday in Uasin Gishu County. And our current dispensation, the head of state has no prosecutorial powers, but there is a provided for mechanism to present all these allegations that he has raised of bribe-taking of judges before the Judicial Service Commission against any judicial official, which was not done by the government. It therefore qualifies to use the wording of the Chief Justice. Is it that this is not more than hot air?
I have my on matter that's in the now. What you have to understand is that judges have security of tenure. They are there for the longest. Executive is there, recall every parliamentarians are also elected every 5 years. The state is that none of them has the powers to overload on the others. The other one, the executive, the judiciary itself. We actually got ourselves into such difficult position. There is dictatorship. Then have a situation like you know what, I mean, this let them out like nobody just cannot over else. So when you say that independence itself means independence. If you, these are my good what do you call legal minds. If
is a provided for mechanism to present all these allegations that he has raised of bribe-taking of judges before the Judicial Service Commission. A complaint list use the wordings of the Chief Justice. Is it that this is not more than hot air?
I have my convictions on the matter that's basically on in debate right now. What I understand is that judges have a security of tenure. They're there for the longest. The executive is there, and there's a right to recall every 5 years. Parliamentarians are also elected every 5 years. You call them the independent arms of the state. The independent arms of the state is that none of them has the powers to overload on the others. The other one, the executive, the judiciary, and parliament. We actually got ourselves into such a position. It is if you these are my good what they call legal minds. If you remember very well on the issue of Marbury versus Madison, which is one, and it's, so the Chief Justice said we cannot give orders to the president. You can't give orders to the president. So when the government comes up with its own projects and programs, they are there because they sold these programs and projects to the country for them to be given this opportunity to lead this country. The first of that is sold, and exactly what governance is about is that to execute, to implement projects, to allocate resources, to push all these things. So you can't have another body that says, no, you can't allocate these resources here. You get my point? So I see a rogue judiciary, to be very honest with you. The corruption is right. What they call rife in the judiciary, everybody knows.
Okay.
It's have to buy a judge than to do anything else.
Okay. But no, Farah Maalim, a good point that you raised there. However, when a manifesto is sold, all manifestos, be it that of Kenya Kwanza, what Azimio sold the people, the mandate accorded to Kenya Kwanza, these are variables. What's constant is the Constitution of Kenya, to which the president has the primary mandate of fidelity to the law. He was sworn into office and given the Constitution. That manifesto therefore is outweighed by the Constitution. As the judiciary, why not easily make your policies compliant with the law?
You see, the corruption is a matter that essentially when somebody makes a claim, there's going to be a way to prove it one way or the other. Judiciary is corrupt to the bones. We all know that ourselves. And when you went there through petitions and everything else, you understand it. It happens in such a flagrant, outright way. If I had the opportunity myself, I would have put too many people under prison, because then I would have tapped their telephones, I would have followed up. Pure executive. What they call intelligence. The Supreme Court, for example. You remember the petition of the governor of Wajir, where Supreme Court says you look like you have a degree, and the evidence is the man appeared before parliamentary commission. It was a parliamentary committee when the person was supposed
vetted for ambassadorial,
in which he says he does not have any of those qualifications. It is at the highest court. Because the programs and projects implemented in my constituency, and any crook who used to, plug himself into that and used to make money out of it, would the courts give him and saying, stop these things. You cannot do this. Now, do not have lecture. There are 5 years the Kenyan infrastructure they have to, and if not to be responsible.
Anji, naona nani hayuko? I see Jex. Jex ni kama ametoka, yuko wapi Jex?
Si hata pia mimi simuoni.
Right, all right.
Oh, he's around.
Ndio.
Pole, ilikuwa imenitoa. But let's listen in even as we wrap up what he's.
No.
Please.
You see, let me tell you.
Okay,
Anyway, go on.
Please allow me to bring in the Law Society of Kenya.
Say my word, yeah, but you tell me.
Okay.
People went in there, bagged him. If that evidence was not there in which somebody went in there, and the thing is that, you see, by denying what is happening right now in our system, I do understand there's corruption. There's no doubt about that. But you know what happened.
Thank you. We will.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for joining us. This was your morning edition. I was trying to play that for you because it's true that it's always good to look at both sides of a coin. That is Fala Malim saying it's possible. It's possible that we could be having a very corrupt judicial system that, yeah, the president could be having a point. All right. So it's a war that we wait to see what happens after all this back and forth. All right. I was your host, Jex, the moderator. With me was Mr. G and of course Angela. Asanteni sana kwa kuwa part of this show. Thank you very, very much. We do this today in the evening. We are back. Paul, we had a small challenge, but now we are back. We see you tonight at 10 p.m. Make sure you subscribe to Africa 24 and let's keep the conversation going. This is Africa in the Morning, and I'm your host, Jex, and of course with Mr. G and Angela. Tuonane jioni kwa majaliwa yake Mungu, na tuwe na show ingine fiti kama tulivyokuwa nayo show hii. Subscribe to Africa 24 and let's keep the conversation going. Goodbye, good day, God bless you, have a fantastic day. Okay.
Tunasonga mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu. Tunasonga mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu. Haya sisi sote wananchi tushangilie. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Mwaka wa 60 umefika, tangu Kenya iwe huru. Mwaka wa 60 umefika, tangu Kenya iwe huru. Haya sisi sote wananchi